Excellent piece there by Wilson Burrow on Mock the Week. And away from the satire, now to a serious discussion this morning. Joining me on the way it is lawyer Ambrose Weda and Ruaraka Member of Parliament TJ Kajwang. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you.
Good morning to you.
Thank you both for being with us this morning. So you understand you were classmates?
Oh yeah, we were classmates.
Where?
We have been classmates for a long time in the University of Nairobi.
Oh yeah?
No, first at National Youth Service, where we are both servicemen with the honors. And then at the University of Nairobi and at the law school.
Nice.
And we cut our teeth together in practice.
In practice.
Yeah.
And in politics?
We launched together.
We launched together.
That was, you remember when we went to bury Onyangolo's mother?
Yes.
The Secretary General. We went to bury, then from there we went to launch Weda, then we came to Kasarani, then it has been on off.
Yes.
Some of us remain. He won in Kasarani, was not given. Later on I won in Kisumuru, I was not given. I left, he remained, so he's in, I'm still out. We're still limbering.
But even in the university,
yes.
We were both leaders in the law society. Was it
Kenya Students Law Society?
Yes.
Later on, Sonu 92.
Yes.
Wow. That's
we're just
quite
waiting
the journey.
for President Uhuru to vacate State House so that we can go in.
So should you join him then on this side, or should you go back?
Well, he should join me on this side so we can have a check at this side.
Really?
No, there I left. You can see even now, there are some people, there is what is called odiemometer. They're measuring.
Yeah.
Luckily, he's not on the blacklist, but several of the MPs have been blacklisted.
Quite a number. That list is growing.
Well, it should, because...
And you see him is presidential material.
Yes.
If today Mheshimiwa Raila was to say, I'm retiring, I think TJ Kajwang be a front line, then I'll say we team together.
Yeah.
But if he's still posturing in front.
So you might just join the likes of Dalmas in saying 2017. Your name is going to be in the ballot. What do you think about what he said?
No, well, not me. I'll tell you something. You see, this is what Kenyan politics is all about. About me, about the people. I mean, about individuals. And never about the people or institutions. Every time you feel dissatisfied with certain things, or every time you have made a little money in your pocket, you think the next thing you want to run for president.
But what if he genuinely feels he can bring something to the table? That
Dalmas has been around for a very long time.
And presidents, usually by the time they're becoming president, it's a long time.
Well, I must, I feel impressed that it has incubated for a very long time. But whatever he couldn't have done all this while he's been in politics, including most of the time that he was in government and influencing the governments that he has worked for to deliver what he should have done, I doubt if he has anything new that young people, new generations will come for. But what he says is his opinion, and for us who have fought for the space of opinions, I think he has a right to express it. But again, he says that he is in this thing called Kalausi. You see, Kalausi is a whirlwind.
Whirlwind.
It's a vugu-vugu. It's a fleeting occurrence. And I think it
so
will
it's
just
on
go.
Now and it will just disappear.
I think it will just go over some time. Although I think that, in my view, this is my view, he's speaking for some group of people. That group of people, whether it will come to pass, time will tell.
What group of people?
Well, I think that Dalmas doesn't have what it takes. I am so sure that Dalmas is speaking on behalf of a political elite that is organizing itself to, so to speak, seize the chance on what they perceive as a vacuum, either in national politics or in what they perceive to be Nyanza politics. And this I don't like, that people should define their politics by the regions they come. You cannot be the leader of this nation if you are just the leader of Luo Nyanza. You need to think out of the box and start seeing other people as part of you that you need to embrace. But as I tell you, that I think he's speaking on behalf of certain people.
So you think he's been used by the state?
Well, that is one possibility. I still don't have very strong evidence, or I know that he's heavily leaning there. You remember that the president appointed him in Sudan just the other day.
Yeah.
But as a politician, I know that he's leaning very closely with the president's party. But whether he's speaking for the president or whether he's speaking for some a quoted message for those other people,
right?
Whatever it is, I can tell you that that is just how much it can go. Just words.
Yeah. What do you read into this announcement by the legislature?
Dalmas Otieno.
Yes.
I call that political posturing.
Okay.
You see, there must be some element of integrity in politics and in people. Dalmas Otieno was the only element, the only canoe face when the entire Luland was the other side. Okay? Then he realized that he wanted to go to parliament. He went back to Raila. I think he cheated Raila. Then he was elected, made a cabinet for 5 years. Okay? Then he again cheated him. Then he was elected as MP. Now he realizes it is his sunset years. Okay? His sunset days. And there is the bone marrow in him is finished. So what do? You say, oh, I want to run for president. Oh, Raila has misled us. Oh, all these things. If he was man enough, let him come. Let him join us on the Jubilee side. Then he runs against President Uhuru. He defeats him for the Jubilee ticket. Then he goes to State House. But this kind of posturing is just causing confusion in Luland and in Kenya, and then giving the president a bad name in Luland, making people feel that he's being, the president has sent him. Yet he knows that it is just lack of integrity and then some kind of frustration. I don't even think President Uhuru would be thinking in such miniature manner that let me prop up the likes of Dalmas.
So you don't think it's something sanctioned?
No, I think he just wants to attract attention, and then he thinks Raila is going to die tomorrow, then he will take over the leadership. I can assure you, for me, when I left ODM, that time Raila had about 4 million votes. I couldn't just go and follow another man with 100,000 votes. So in this country, we still have Raila, we have President Kenyatta. That is on the first tier. The second tier, we have Ruto. We have the life of Alfred Mutua. Do you understand? And then on the third tier, we have people like Senator Omar, Kajwang here, and the Wedas. And then the fourth tier. This man is not on any of those tires. He's on the down tire of retirees. People to be given wheelbarrow to say hallelujah in the name of the Lord. Go and rest in Kangeso. This posturing, how it even finds his way on the headline, national headline of I am shocked. We should have put Kanyari on the headline. Kanyari to face prosecution. It would have been much better.
Yes.
But otherwise, this one, he knows.
A lot has been happening in the Orange Democratic Movement. Let's go there for a while now. First, there threatened to be another Magarel-style ejection last week with the MP Kaspul Kabondo. Then we saw more of the former Prime Minister actively involved to try and ensure that did not happen. Again, even when you read some articles penned down by Sir Manalese talking about this violence, this kind of intolerance that is witnessed when people are not disagreeing or when others are deemed to be moles or rebels or in bed with the opposition. Is this the way we should be seeing our politics practiced?
Well, I was in that meeting that you refer to. In fact, I happened to be in both meetings. Where all these nasty incidences.
You are there.
Yes. You know, a lot of things have happened in ODM.
Right.
And first of all, it pleases me that we have been on the news every single day.
For the wrong reasons.
Even for the wrong reasons. You know, as they say,
good.
Publicity is
publicity.
But I want to say that some of them have been very disheartening. And we have said so. The thing is that people think that we control the, what people do or that we ought to control what others do. Now, that is really not fair for ODM as an institution. The other day, and I'm sure we are going to speak about it, we should speak about those fellows who are trying to strip that girl on the street.
Yes, we'll talk about that, yes.
You know, and when you look at those boys doing what they are doing, you wonder, should somebody would have, you know, been in control of what they are doing? These are criminals who have decided in their own way to do things which are unpalatable. And yet when it happens, we blame the police, as though police would have been responsible. This is really what happens in ODM. You go into a meeting where people are serious, discussing issues, and a team of fellows who call themselves MCAs gang up and show up in the morning. And before you know it, they are pulling each one of you apart and throwing people away. We go into a meeting like we did last weekend, very serious, and people are discussing issues. But boys or hirelings or whoever they are believe that this person should not be in this meeting, or he should not express himself in this way. So they decide to do what they do. You see, the problem is with this new constitution, although I'm also blaming the new constitution. You see, it says that the power belongs to the people. And Kenyans have taken this thing literally. That is what those boys were doing in the streets. Seems like everybody wants to take the law in his hands. And yet to blame it on the party as though it is something sanctioned from the party, perceived or otherwise, really is not fair. But, you know, the news is really how spouses fight at home, not why they fight at home. Let me go to why we fight at home in terms of issues of principle. Look, what you're seeing in this country is really political realignment. In national level, it's political realignment after hearing what Wananchi is talking to us as leaders. And so you see everybody is trying to get his space somewhere, number one. Number two, some of what you're seeing in regional issues are what I call juvenile delinquents, you know. In every generation, there is always adolescence, and you have to go through those stages. And some of our politicians are going through those stages, and sometimes you therefore find that to be able to you know, meet your people becomes very difficult. So whereas we have condemned this, I personally, you know that I cannot get into this kind of things, but we do not control these things. These are criminals who come to take advantage of our situations. We have very express ways of dealing with our issues. We allow a lot of space for people to dissent. Right now, Dalmas is saying what he's saying.
Okay, you say there's realignment that's happening, but where does you comment on the same? There are those who will argue that it is a question of there being opposition from ODM or not having room for divergent views, that when people come out and they're seen to even hold a view that is not in line with what especially the top leadership says or the direction the party is going, then they quickly are tagged a mole. And as soon as that happens, then of course the same information trickles down to other people. Or even as Magarel claimed when he came here, he said that in his particular case, the former PM had met these people and that this was planned, that violent ejection we saw. So that it's really an issue of intolerance at the heart of it.
Now, let me quote my bishop of ACK, Makwini Diocese, Bishop Kanuku. He said, even if you plant the truth on a stone, it will take long, but it will germinate. History teaches us that we learn nothing from history. This violence in ODM is not a new bride. Look at the original Ford Kenya. When Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga was leaving Ford Kenya with Wamalwa Kijana, they fought, and even people had to die. All Saints Cathedral had to be cleansed because somebody was killed there. You come, I don't want to take long going this history, but remember Kalonzo Musyoka was together with Raila Odinga. He was ejected, a mole. He's not with us, he's with Kibaki. Even Mheshimiwa William Samoei Ruto was with Raila Odinga. It was rejected. Amol is not with us. This culture of Molenizing people, whenever you say no, sir, I think, and it is very interesting. Those of us who are openly in the Jubilee and in the TNA, like me, Mheshimiwa Nyangolo, it's okay. You go to a funeral and you say, Raila is taking you nowhere, and people clap. Now, their own people who say, no, whether nini kujeni pande hii, you are like us, nini, they are the ones that they say they are the moles. Somebody who declares like Dalmas is no longer a mole. Actually, is accepted. He speaks in Osu village and people clap. But their own people who are with them. When Baba thinks, now like Ababu Namabesa, last week I was saying, Ababu Namabesa now, if another election is called, and he dares to go for that election, he may not come back alive. He had a twangwa kwa sababu now he's a mole. Every time, and then now it is, you are a mole, and then Jubilee. A mole, then Jubilee.
Right.
Now that culture cannot come from anywhere. We people from the lake or near the ocean, we always say a fish starts rotting from the top.
So
they
problem
rot
is
it at the head. Baba must come out and stem out violence. Porojo ingine, I didn't know. I told you that Margaret could not have been beaten if he didn't. These are the MPs. He said he would deal with them. He wants by election. So when Baba says, you will be beaten. So please, we need, Baba needs prayers.
Well, we all need prayers. But you see,
even
let's get to the bottom line of some of these things, because yes, when we discuss them from a point of substance, we gain much more. Well, of course, you know, politics is also not a church, so we don't really go there to pray. We go there to play politics. So you have to be man or woman enough to be able to express yourself. But the thing is that when you look at ODM, and I do not want to compare it with other political parties, but I can tell you that the space level for people to express their minds, for people to have dissenting or discordant views here and there, is very large. You know that we have had a lot of discordant voices coming from, say, Coast Province. There's been a lot of voices coming from the Rift Valley. There has been a lot of voices coming right now from Nyanza, both Luo Nyanza and the larger Nyanza. And many of those things have been public debates, and we have treated them as public debates, either in rallies or in closed-door meetings. But you have never seen us take any sublime step, meaning that we know that some of these things go about. I do not want to discuss the question of Margaret. In fact, we have given it more than it. Margaret is an employee, like every other employee. The guy can always be dismissed, except if those goons show up and they want to do it in a different way, then that is deplorable. But I do not want to treat Margaret with, you know, he doesn't deserve the kind of publicity that we have given him of late. But I can tell you that ODM is one party that has labored to create structures in the way that it was perceived that structures would run political parties. Now, Kenya is a multi-party democracy by the Constitution. Kenya, there is an express provision of the Constitution which says that we will enjoy our political rights through political parties. A lot of money has been given by the Exchequer to be able to promote political parties. And then there is an act, Political Parties Act, which seeks to regulate how people practice this profession called political parties activism. Now, it means that the Kenyan has decided deliberately that the institution of political parties is something which is very important in terms of promoting ideals of politics in this country. So if you have people who use taxpayers' money, you know, I use political taxpayers' money when I play my politics in ODM, and I use taxpayers' money, and instead of propagating the ideals that I've expressed in my manifesto, and I've said that these are what I stand for, I start sconging around, and today I am yellow, the next day I am pink. I am not being truthful to my taxpayers. I'm not being truthful to my party. So this is what we are saying, that look, the political parties is such a discipline that we need to be very careful about. And so if you decide to wear the jersey of ODM for the sake of the taxpayers, not even for the sake of members of the party, please propagate things for ODM.
And that's granted. I think what's in question is the manner in which then the party comes out to deal with these perceived rebels. Why not use the channels that are provided for in law to then deal with this
which is what we have done.
Discipline? What we are seeing is acts of violence, and I'm sure is not...
This is what we have done. You've just seen snippets of this Magarer, which as I've told you, in my view, he is not a political leader. He is a director, an employee of the party, like everybody else. But I can tell you that the likes of Dalmas that you are seeing, and some of them that we have already given information to, they are going to appear before a lawfully established disciplinary committee, which will investigate issues around them. And Dalmas will have his chance to appear before that committee. And that committee will make a judicious decision. And when that decision comes about and we find that Dalmas has consciously and deliberately and willfully disparaged the party, publicly going against what we have stood for, we will show him the door. And any other person also, we will show the door. We will show the door to as many people as possible, so that we have just lean few people who believe in the social democracy that we began, who believe on the movement and the deals of the reforms that we have come with. We'd rather be just a few who believe in it, and I'm sure the taxpayer will feel that his money has been used well for that purpose.
And Weda, as you comment on the same, we've seen more meetings of the four from Mombasa. There have been several others saying, we had that footage, maybe we can just put those clips up. Mungaro and Mutua, of course, from Wiper, but still part of the Cord family. Namwamba as well, part of the group. And more of this, more voices coming out. Onyonka has also been very vocal. Do you believe that we will see them using those processes provided for in law to kick out these people that are perceived to not be throwing party lines? I can assure you there will be a very quick injunction. I'll be ready to represent all these people and then have injunction against all this. The key element is not the voices, and it is not party discipline. If anybody within the party is not disciplined, he needs to be dealt with. But the question is, how come this violence is not in Ford Kenya, it is not in TNA, it is not in URP, it is not in KANU, it is not in Wiper? It is only this other side that the moment you speak, you are hounded from your house to your bedroom to wherever. That part, before the ODM says to discipline anybody, they need to sit down and re-examine themselves. Ask, where are we getting it wrong? Because you do that outside here. If you talk to people, especially from the ethnic Kikuyu community, sometimes they say, we have no problem with Raila. But if he took over power, where will we go? They'll beat us to hell. And tell them, no, he looks a man of peace. They say, no, look at the way he does. Even if they just win a small trophy kidogo, what do I call it, football club in this country which does not go international, they paint the whole city comes to a sunset. The day Raila takes over, we are finished. They are doing a lot of harm to this fellow. And this fellow also, when they see the men in black, and now they are saying they want to punish Dalmas, although the law does not allow them to remove anybody, they want to punish Mungaro. But these young people, you do not stem out dissent through threats. You do not stem out threats through all this manner of punishment. The way Raila grew up, Raila, Kajwang, Keraitu, all these people, is Moi did exactly what now ODM is doing. Now, so they gather together and they threw out Moi and his team. They'll gather together and they'll throw out...
allow me to say this, that, well, I don't think I come to the national TV to talk about personalities, and I want to be fair to them. But you asked that you have seen a lot of voices. You saw some things in the Coast Province. You have seen other voices in Ukambani and so forth. And you are asking, so what do we make of this in the national plane? I'll tell you, really, watch this space. If you are privy to what may have transpired in the Coast meeting, I happen to have been informed very reliably, although I don't want to discuss it here, but I can tell you that people are beginning to understand what the ordinary mwananchi is telling political leaders to do. I will tell you that you'll be so surprised at the engineering that is going to come, particularly from the Coast province and in Western province. You see, the political class has really worked out a carefully orchestrated propaganda strategy, which I think for some time they have been winning.
Right. That
what you need to do is to create minions of people in regions who are aspiring for presidency and all that, so that wananchi are glued to their peripheral and tribal and the regional, you know, excitements of who their person being there.
Right.
But this has really not worked because that is what you are seeing going on in Coast. Now, this is what you saw going on in Western Province. People are being told that produce your person because you are also worth it. This is what you saw in Ukambani, that people are being propped up. But I can tell you that there's going to be a lot of re-engineering. It may be ODM, it may be COD, it may be something else, but I can see that this country is realizing that unless we come up with a system in which ideal is more important than rhetoric, unless we come up with a situation where we do not tend to be popular, but do what wananchi want, we would be relevant.
So do you support those proposals to have, say, at the Coast region, a party for the region?
I didn't see a party. I saw the proposals.
They proposed a forum, although
yes.
there are those who specifically would want there to be a party. That they're not agreed on, but there are those who think the party is the way to go.
I thought I understood that they really want to consult more closely. I know there has been proposals for the party. And look, we are in the third year. We are second year is gone, and we are going to the third year. I can tell you that this thing called political party is elusive for the Coast province. I think what they're talking about is that they want to consult more and see who are their genuine partners in the political divide. I see that a lot in Western province, that they are, instead of talking about a political party or a group here and there, they are saying that who can we come together with so that we can achieve for our people. So I can tell you that I am seeing a lot of realignment. I do not want to tell you here, but do not call me a prophet when you see it happen.
When you see it happen. What did you read into this consultative forum? Because the Coast has not had what many would call kingpin for many years now, that person that the region will go around and support, as has been the practice of politics in other regions. What do you make of this particular meeting that we saw over the weekend?
Now, I think the chemistry of the Coast province, if you take Mombasa town, the town part is slightly different from the rural part. That chemistry makes it difficult to have one unity party called Coast. Coast is a name. It cannot be like, let's say, Central Province or Gema or Lowland or Loyaland. The Arabs in Mombasa are totally different from the Taitas near Mtito Ande. So that chemistry is difficult. But the reality in this country is this. Kenya is evolving to a maximum of a three-party state. There will be about 3 political parties only. Unless there's another party which has slept in with 1 or 2 MPs. So whoever is genuinely in search of power must accept that you either combine into one major party. For now, it is CORD and Jubilee, with the third wing called Amani. That is the reality. That is where we are going. And I keep on saying, after this election and the next election, when Kenyans will realize that it no longer matters whether your kinsman, whether your tribesmate is the president, you'll still sleep hungry. If the way your things are arranged, you are going to sleep hungry. Up to that point, Kenyans will start electing leaders on the basis of ability and promise. For now, we are just electing, hoping that if President Uhuru is a fellow Kikuyu, then I'm going to eat. If Raila Odinga is a fellow Luo, I'm going to eat much better. But the dynamics in the constitution, the dynamics in the political economy, the dynamics in the world economy is dictating against such kind of stealing to give to your people. And it's going to change. So even cost people who are gunning to form a party, unless they're saying that's a party with which they'll enter into a coalition, it will not have any serious impact. There must be, the Kenya is divided into 2, maximum 3, the way it is.
Okay.
And that is the way it was during NAC. It was NAC with Kibaki on side, KANU on the other side. The days when everybody was for the Kenya, for the Asili, for the no, for the yes, KANU would just keep on going back. And people have realized. So my message to cost people is that it is good to come together on economic issues, or even to form a political party to negotiate within a coalition. But otherwise, Kenya will only be will only be divided into 2, maximum 3 parties.
So President Uhuru, shifting gears, has visited Kibera several times to just look at some of the projects going on there, being championed by the Devolution Ministry, spearheading the same. And Raila recently visited, former Prime Minister, and he said the president is simply now implementing his brainchild, that these were really his ideas, this is what he'd sought to do, but because of the balance of power and politics as it stood then, he was unable to then implement until now, and pretty much telling the president, thank you for now doing what it is I sought to do, because other analysts have argued that the president is very keen on this particular area now to show that he can do in 2 years what the former PM couldn't do for 20 years when he was the representative in the National Assembly. Do you agree with that?
Well, I'm a member for Waraka. I'm a member of a slum neighborhood. And so you should expect that I know something about slum upgrading.
Right.
Because slum upgrading is a project that we have wrestled with for a very long time in Korogocho. That is one of the wards that I represent. How we can, improve the structures that we have down there, open up the roads, create facilities, sanitation and sewage disposal and waste disposal in such a manner that even if you have to come from industrial area, or if you have to come to Muthaiga looking for labor from the people down there, or how they can access other markets, it becomes a hub for labor market, so to speak. That is something that we have been working with in Korogocho. Now, slum upgrading, I mean, give the benefit to where it deserves. It is really, if he says so, it really began when Raila was the PM. As a concept of government. Of course, Raila championed it as then in ODPM. After studying a lot of examples from Malaysia, from Soweto, and this kind of thing. And it became a project which was done through the Ministry of the former Housing and Settlement. And Wanjiru, for example, was very close to it. And there is a department, urban development department, which is dedicated to its service. It's one of the key pillars that the Kibaki administration really worked on in the slum areas, and hoping that it would spread to other cities. Now, in Kibera, because I happen to know this, President Uhuru is doing a lot of good things to the young people there. In terms of trying to get them to, to be part of this movement. The problem is that the concept is not being implemented as it was. You have a slum upgrading project, which is, as I've told you, to be able to open up the slum areas so that we can provide out markets and we can get these guys to access things out there. But what he's doing is not slum upgrading. What he's doing is slum cleaning. He's literally wearing boots, coming with wheelbarrows, coming with tractors to clean up the environment, which is good. I really
Isn't that where to start?
No. That is it is cleaning up of an estate that I would even want him to come to Korogocho and help me clean up. It's a big problem out there. We are doing it with a governor, and it has become a very big problem. I'm saying that it is a good thing he's doing, except it is not in the concept of the slum upgrading that we should be talking about, because slum upgrading has the component of working out on the structures, on working out on land ownership, on working out on facilities. Now, Charity Gilu, I know, is working out a project to be able to give title deeds to those fellows. Out of about, say, 4,000 acres, she's working out some 280-something title deeds. Now, which is something that we have labored for a long time. The problem is, in the slums, the way we live, in the, I prefer to call them low-income neighborhoods, if you give title deeds without enough consultation, first of all, the lands ministry does not have the power to alienate government land because it is government land. It is the issue of the land commission. The land commission will be expected to do a lot of consultation. As you know, Kibera has two main groups of people. They are the you call them I'm forgetting, but all right, those two groups claim Kibera is home. Kibera is home. If you do not consciously come and do a lot of consultation, you will have violence, you will have political discussions, you will have conflicts that you've never seen before in a metropolitan town as we are.